Okay. It's about 9 a.m. on February 7th, 2025. I am here in the backyard of my suburban home in North Austin, Texas. We are now zone 9A, although I would certainly not be surprised to have a winter in zone 7 or 8. So just keep that in mind. We have pretty crazy weather. All right, so what I want to do today is just go around and document what's going on in the garden right now. It's pretty exciting to me. It's not going to look that exciting yet. In a few months, it's going to be lush and unbelievable. But let's get a look at what it looks like at the very end of winter, and let's talk about what's going to be happening for spring and going forward. All right, let's get going. Alrighty, here's my view from my little chair on my patio. I gotta show you this guy because he's so cute. Blue, hello. He's chilling, just enjoying the morning. All right, okay. So I'll just start right here. And this is a table of some plants that are going to stay in pots and some plants that I'm trying to grow out. Here I just planted a couple seeds, so I've got a radish going on and a few little crimson clovers in that. Here I tried to take some elderberry cuttings, and I don't see a lot of roots, but I'm seeing some new growth, so hopefully they're doing well. I took those cuttings right before the first really major frost in early January. All right. These are cuttings of my fig, Texas everbearing fig. I got it from the Neighbor Woods program with Tree Folks, so I got it for free. The mother tree is over here. It's 4 years old now. I'll give you a closer look in a little bit, but I have made several new trees from that one so far. So back to here, I was really excited to get this Meyer lemon this year. I've decided to start doing a few citrus and plants that can't live outside in pots so that I can just take them in the winter. I brought these in anytime it was gonna freeze, and so far it's doing great. I was surprised when, after just having this for 2 months and not even changing out the pot, it started to bloom. It's got amazing fragrance. It smells just very floral, and it's attracting so many. Ooh, I'm being attacked by a bee. I just wanted to get a closer look, guy. Sorry about that. Here, I'm gonna try and stand a little bit further away. Yes, the pollinators love this. There's butterflies on it all day. When the sun was going down yesterday, ooh, he's after me again. When the sun was going down yesterday, a moth was pollinating it. So it's just been a favorite so far, especially since there's nothing really blooming yet. Okay, I'm gonna take you over here. This is the little courtyard. I've got 2 little patios and this interesting little space in between that's I've raised at least a few inches and plan to put a raised bed there. I've got this great green stalk planter. It's got, I think, about 30 pockets. I've got all kinds of herbs going on in here, and then I also planted a bunch of cool weather lettuce mix, etc. I've got tons of mints and lots of greens. We've got also beautiful dill coming up. So some of these I just bought at my grocery store. Some of them I made cuttings. It's actually really easy to make more herb plants from cuttings. So that's something that I did this year. Over here, you'll see I'm all set up. I've got my mug. Of course, we're having a happy dance because every day just calls for that, especially when I get to drink my coffee. Got a whole bunch of seeds that I plan to put directly into the ground. So fava beans are probably just going to be a cover crop this year. I'm a little bit late planting them, so they probably won't get all the way to beans, but that's fine with me. They add tons of nitrogen to the soil. I've got carrots. Probably should have planted those already, but I'm going to try. I want to make more pickles, so I got cucumber pickles. I've got a lot of Baker Creek seeds. I've got also a lot of botanical interest. I hope it's not too late because it's already getting warm to plant some peas. I want to do some Swiss chard, beet. Got a whole bunch of free carrots last year, trying to get rid of those a little bit. And they actually did really well in the green stalk planter last year. All right, this is some of my favorite tools. These are for cutting herbs or maybe trimming plants. This is my favorite garden tool, my Hori Hori knife. I use this for everything: planting, weeding, chopping down organic matter for chop and drop. It's fun, it's awesome. I've had it for a long time and it's lasted really well. Got that off Amazon for about $20. All right, let's come over here and see some of the flowers and herbs I've started, and also a couple of vegetables. We've got hollyhock. I was really excited to try and grow asparagus from seed. I've got some coming that are going to be the crowns, but I have never done this from seed. So far they're germinating well, and they just look like the tiniest little asparagus. They're so cute. Can't even get it in focus. There you go. All right, over here I've got some drumstick flowers, just a whole bunch of new flowers that I'm trying from botanical interests. I got a couple of artichokes. Not very many of those germinated, but I'll take two. Okay, over here, more flowers. Some of these are so tiny. So all of these are about 3 weeks old. They're doing pretty well right now. I started them indoors and then I brought them outside because the weather got really, really warm. It's been up into the 80s this week, which is crazy. So here I've got some bronze fennel, eucalyptus. I'm gonna try and grow for some chop and drop. Poppies, these are ones that you actually save the seeds for, poppy seeds, for your bread or any kind of treats that you might want poppy seeds. They've got beautiful purpley pink flowers. Okay, I've got basil, cardinal basil, which makes beautiful red flowers. Got some chamomile, thyme, calendula, and this one from botanical interest. If anybody knows, tell me, what is common mint? Is that peppermint? Is that spearmint? Anyway, I'm growing some common mint. Tiny, tiny little seeds. Okay, over here I have sage. I have some purple Petra basil. Beautiful color, and I just love basil. I'm gonna grow tons of it. Got some African marigolds growing right here. Those are cute. So, bee balm, that one is a native. And yeah, just trying all of those out pretty much for the first time by seed. Okay, so right now, just covered in leaves. It's pretty much second fall, because here we have, you know, our first fall where we lose all of the leaves from most of the, what are they called? Cedar elms. And then after that, the live oaks that are everywhere lose their leaves and start to grow them back pretty much at the same time in the spring, which is happening now. So this oak tree above my house is losing a lot of leaves now. So I am super happy to capture them in my yard to be fertilizer. And yeah, I just put them all right into the garden beds and they will break down over time. So my goal with this was to get rid of most of the grass, at least not non-native grasses, and not really trying to go for a xeriscape look, but more like the forest floor. Because as you can see, got lots of tall trees. We are kind of in a forested neighborhood of North Austin. You probably hear a lot of other noise like the school next door, but we still hear birds and traffic and all that good stuff. So here we go over here. This is going to be some nice native plants. This is Henry Dulberg sage. Doesn't look that great right now. I've got some woodland sedge, which is a native Texas sedge. All right, over here I've just got my compost station back there. I've got a little shed, a whole bunch of tree limbs that I need to deal with cutting up and using for firewood, other things like that. Okay, so coming from this side, this little patch here is a whole bunch of Texas native grasses. They're not necessarily native to my area, but they are native to Texas. I got all of them at the Ladybird Wildflower Center's native plant sale. They have that twice a year coming up pretty soon, in a couple months. So this one doesn't look amazing right now, but it's Gulf Muley, and it will have like pink feathery seed heads when it's ready. Over here we've got the state grass of Texas, Texas Gamma, I believe. This one over here is a Henry Dulberg sage or big muley, or sorry, Henry Dulberg muley or big muley. That one should actually get pretty big. And then the grass has been spreading more seeds, so that's exciting. It's spreading. This actually all started from one plant seeded out a few years ago and is becoming a nice patch of Texas grass. Okay, over here, right here, yesterday I planted a little skeleton goldeneye, which I took a cutting of. It's a native yellow daisy. These are babies right now, so they'll get bigger. Here I've got another cutting I did of rosemary. And back there, those dead looking plants, I planted quite a bit of Turk's cap. The Native Plant Society of Texas is now selling plants. Actually, they don't have them right this second there, but seasonally at HEB. And for $6, I grabbed a bunch of native plants. And back here, this one looks the best. Most of them look like they died, but they'll come back from the freeze, because these plants do really like to be planted in the fall. Then they get a freeze not too long after that, but the roots actually stay alive and then it comes back. So I wanted Turk's cap against this fence. It's not very beautiful, pretty old fence. Cover that up. All right, over here, this tiny thing, if this ever gets bigger, it is a grapevine. So this says Concord seedless grapevine. Got that a year ago, I believe, or maybe 2. I am planting some transplants all over of these squash gourds and cucumbers that I started indoors. Another almost dead looking Turk's cap. Here's a couple of trees that I need to repot and add more soil. They've lost most of it in the last year, but those are jujube trees. I've been too scared to put them in the ground because I've heard they can sprout all over and spread underground. So I might just keep them forever in pots. All right, I want to show you guys this because this is weird, kind of funny. I have little holes all over since yesterday, which I believe the squirrels, they're after all their acorns that they buried. So literally they're everywhere. It's crazy. So the ones in the pathway, I will just fix that with a rake real quick, but I was thinking, hey, those are some nice holes they already dug for me. Maybe I'll stick some plants in there. Looks nice. The soil is nice and dark. It's fun to see down in there. Well, okay. These are some new-ish plants from transplanted in November last year of 2024. Here is platinum blonde lavender, and popping up everywhere all over these are pink prairie primrose. They're a native Texas wildflower, and their greens start to grow over the winter, basically in late winter, and then they get huge and become like a field of pink flowers. And you can eat the leaves. You can add them to your salad. It is a native salad replacement. Here you go. There's more little squashes that I planted, and I did 6 varieties, so I don't remember which is which. A little bit of Dusty Miller because it looks pretty in the winter when there's nothing else there. Put a few of those in a couple months ago. They've definitely multiplied a lot. All right. I couldn't help myself when I found this Mexican fan palm tree for $20 at Home Depot. So we'll see what happens with this guy. If we don't have a really, really major freeze, who knows? He could grow up big and strong. Over here, if I look up over my neighbor's roof, I don't know if you can see in the middle there, they have a palm tree taller than their house in the front. So it can happen. It does freeze here, so at first I thought I would make this more like a cottage garden, but now over time it's become a little bit more like a native cottage garden / tropical jungle. So we'll see. Here's a big crepe or Turk's cap that is kind of dying back. It's still green on the bottom, so pretty soon here I'll start cutting off the dead stuff from the winter because the new growth is coming back. I just wait until I see that new growth coming back, and then you can go ahead and chop and drop it. As you can see, the ground is just covered with leaves and other things that have been chopped and dropped, and it's working really well to soak in tons of water and keep the plants happy. I planted some culinary lavender in the fall, and it already bloomed a little bit, but yeah, the greens all did really well over the freeze down to about 20 degrees. Over here hasn't started growing this year, but I've got a passion fruit, the native passion flower, and more squash. So it's gonna look a lot different very soon. Okay. Let's go back over here. Okay, so on the other side of my patio, I have a little area that's half fenced in, half not, but I'm using this fence both to keep out my dog. He can't really jump more than a 2-foot fence, and also to use as a trellis. So back here, I've got blackberries. They are a thornless type called Prime Arc Freedom, and they've done really well here. I've harvested tons of blackberries in the last year. Okay, there we've got some flowers that are gonna come up later. I think that's an Alaskan daisy. Here we've got more bronze fennel. And this skinny little guy here is an Anna apple tree. So that's got low chill hours, and hopefully I will be able to get some apples in my area. Okay, over here, I've planted tons of new stuff. I was growing. Here's another cutting of the blonde lavender. That one I love. The variegated leaves. I'm just not sure which one it is because the packets of seeds only had pictures of the fruit. So that's exciting. Can't wait to figure out what that one is. More blackberries. And the roly-polies are really loving eating these that I just put in, but we're gonna see if I can get an early crop of these. If not, I'm gonna plant more, but you never know. I think winter might already be over. There we've got some purple cauliflower, and I've also got some purple broccoli. I haven't had very good luck with those here yet, but we'll see. I put in a whole bunch of basil. These are from cuttings, just some sweet basil. And from seed, I'm growing some Tulsi holy basil. All right, and over here, my first try with onions. So these are supposed to be yellow, white, and red. And there's about 30 of them, and they all sprouted, so looking forward to seeing if that works out. Here I have another tiny little apple tree, baby. Even though they look spindly, they about tripled their size this year. This one is an Einsheimer apple. Another Israeli apple with low chill hours. And I have a lot of trees actually coming in the next few weeks that I ordered. And so stay tuned if you want to see what's coming soon. Okay, over here on this side, I have this beautiful Anacacho orchid tree. This is about the worst it looks, actually. But it's got beautiful bark. It's only about 4 years old, so it'll get a lot bigger. But look at that beautiful bark. And it's got these beautiful leaves. And it's in the pea family, so it's a nitrogen fixer, and it's a native. And the pollinators absolutely adore it. It's covered with white flowers in the spring. So there we go. Next to that, I've got a mulberry tree. This one is a black superberry mulberry, and it's about 5 times as big as it was when I planted it last year. Haven't gotten any berries yet, but hopefully those are good. Down here underneath, I've got some snapdragons. These are black print snapdragons that I grew from seed last year. And then they survived and grew back. So they are a perennial. I'm very excited about that. More squash. More and more holes dug by squirrels. Hello. Okay, this little guy right here is an olive tree. So actually I have another olive over here. I forgot because it's so small. If you can, guess you can't see it from here, but a mission olive tree over there. It's so tiny. And then this one is Aberkina olive. Both of these are supposed to be able to survive in my area. So you will see. Over here I have comfrey, to be a chop and drop plant mainly. I've got more bronze fennel around this olive tree, kind of a Mediterranean theme. We've got oregano, rosemary, bronze fennel, and then I've got a bunch of Mexican mint marigold, which is also sometimes called Texas tarragon because it's sometimes used as a substitute for that. Over here I've got more squash, and I think those are garbanzo beans growing over there. Yeah, gotta cut down this Mexican mint marigold. It is already growing back. Down here you can see the little greens coming back. Hello, roly-poly. This is also a certified wildlife habitat, so there's gonna be lots of those little guys around. Don't do anything to stop them. Here's another grape. This one is a seedless grape. Red Flame seedless grapevine. I have not got any grapes yet, But my tiny little food forest is growing, and soon hopefully there will be abundant fruit. Here's another little elderberry. I've got them all over. I got a few of those from the Texas Wildflower Center because they are Texas native. And I'm excited to see if I can get berries and also the elder flowers from those. These poles are where I'm planning to put some trees. So one plum tree over there, hopefully. And then this Santa Rosa plum over here. There's not a ton going on this side yet. This gigantic oak tree, it's right here. Beautiful, but it had quite a lot of damage in our last freeze, which basically the last ice storm, which was 2 years ago. So over here I have a bunch of little baby oak trees growing around their mother tree. And I've got beautyberry, another Texas native. Right now it just looks like sticks, but it's gonna grow these beautiful purple berries. And they are edible for humans and animals. Another native. And here's another one, Greg's Mistflower. I was gifted this from the Plant Rescue with the Master Naturalist program. So that is exciting. I have some more in another area, and I love the Greg's Mistflower. It does really well as kind of a tall ground cover, and it attracts a lot of pollinators, including monarch butterflies. Lots of basically weeds around, but also through seeds everywhere, so random radishes. Another beautyberry. Here is where I think I'm going to put the hazelnut tree, coming on this week. Should be here soon. Here I've got a Texas redbud. It actually got chopped down to this tiny little stump when all those trees were falling 2 years ago. It got smashed, and from that it just kept growing. So it's going to be having a very short trunk, but it's growing great. And that is a Texas redbud, so it'll have those beautiful purple flowers in the spring. Beautiful heart-shaped leaves that last most of the year. We just lost them recently. And then I am training this yellow, sorry, what is that called? It's not the trumpet flower. Okay, one of those Texas native vines, but it is yellow instead of orange. And it is growing all the way up. So we're gonna have vines growing up the trees as trellises, all kinds of fun stuff like that I learned in my permaculture classes. Really, most of this is part of a larger project that I'm doing for my advanced permaculture student online project with Matt Powers. I love his class, and I really recommend it if you're thinking about going further into your permaculture studies beyond just a regular PDC. All right, right here I've got, this is a fig that I took from a cutting last year. Here we've got a pineapple guava. Beautiful shrub plant, hasn't made any fruit yet, but it's beautiful and I'm really rooting for it. Here's my dog and another fig. All right, and over here, more elderberry. That one got cut short, so I guess you can pretty much cut it if you want a elderberry bush or let it grow tall, and those will hopefully be kind of a privacy screen for us. We've got some elderberries coming along this wall. And that's pretty much the end of what I've done over here. Not much going on back here. Over here, we're definitely working on this area. Here's another pineapple guava. Got some tiny little Texas salvia, I believe. And this is really exciting. If this works out, this is the most cold hardy citrus that exists right now, called Arctic Freeze. So it's supposed to be able to get down, you know, maybe even lower than 20s. And this year I put some Christmas lights that have the ambient heat and a cover over them, and it lived. And it's just a baby, so very excited about that. Here's a whole bunch of stuff that I have to get kind of cut down. This is Zexmania, what's left of it from last year, and it was really great all the way up until the hardest freeze. And I'm waiting for it to start growing its green down there, and then I'll cut it down. But right now it's a really great habitat for the wildlife. So I won't mention every single plant that exists because I've already gone about 30 minutes. And yeah, I've got a front yard going too. I'll make that another video. So anyway, a very long-winded answer of what am I doing these days. A lot of gardening. If you'd like to follow along with my advanced permaculture project where I build a suburban food forest, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. See you next time.